What's going on, everyone? It's Dan here, guys. I want to welcome you all to the game update for October 2022. Probably the first proper gaming season month of the year. Lots of stuff coming out, spaced out, fairly decent. I mean, there's a few overlaps here and there, but honestly, based on our streaming schedule now, as I've been saying, I think we're set up to be able to tackle all these games and possibly more in this month. Like I said, though, there's a lot of games coming out. I know there's going to be a lot of questions, a lot of people asking me what game I'm playing, this game, that game, etc. Now, obviously, I'm going to do my best to balance all these games. Now, one thing I want people to understand, it's been like this for eternity on the channel, but the way I like to do things is whenever a game comes out and there's like, say, maybe multiple 2 or 3 games on the same day or within the same week, what I try to do is cycle between those releases. So it's gonna be tough to literally play every single game that comes out in the same day. And keep in mind is if I do start with the game and then I go to the next one the next day, it doesn't mean I'm not doing it anymore. A lot of people seem to think that just because I'm not playing a game back to back to back to back to back until it's finished doesn't mean that I'm not gonna finish it. You know what I mean? I just like to play new things, try and make as many people happy on the channel as possible based on with what game they're into. So I just figured I'd throw that out there. If just like because I don't come back to a game the same day or the day after or the day after that doesn't mean I'm not gonna continue it. I always try to continue every single game that I start, if at all possible. Sometimes I don't finish them, but I will let you know. If you don't hear anything that I won't be finishing it, then you're gonna assume I'm gonna go back to it, all right? Just figured I'd announce that before we get started. All right, guys, so kicking things off, we kind of have a slower first week, and then after that, it's going to start stacking on. So, starting October 4th, our first game of the month is Dakar Desert Rally. So for those that aren't unfamiliar with the Dakar, it's this legendary off-road race. It's thousands of miles long. Various types of off-road vehicles compete, but it is kind of like an endurance race. It's not so much necessarily are you the fastest. Well, that's a big part of it, but another massive part of the race is can your vehicle make it that far? There's a lot of rules on what you can and can't do, but the vehicle has to be strong. It has to be resilient. It has to survive the elements and survive the grueling everything. It's in the desert. It's very hot. You know, things are gonna be tested. So I don't know a whole lot about the game other than I wanted to give it a go. I like rally games. I like off-road games, and I've never played a Dakar base game. I think this might be one of the earlier ones or first ones to ever come out. So it's not really from a publisher I'm too familiar with. Well, Saber Interactive is doing it, but they've done a few. I am familiar with them, obviously, but they haven't done a whole lot in terms of racing. So or it's not like a Codemasters game or something like that. So we're gonna have to figure it out, see if it's gonna be fun. Hey, it could be a super fun, but I'm still gonna try and play it and beat it in the first week. I don't know how long it's gonna take us, but that's kind of the plan anyway. So figured I'd let you guys know that. First things first, Dakar Desert Rally. All right, moving on to the following week after that. Kicking things off on October 11th, we actually have 2 games coming out, and actually their release dates aren't actually on the 11th. However, if you get both these games early, if you buy a certain version of the game, you actually get them 3 days early. So, kicking things off, we're probably going to play this one first, but obviously coming out on the Friday that week, but we're going to be doing these special editions so we can play it early. We've got NHL 23. So there's a good chunk of people who love my NHL runs. I love them too. They're a lot of fun. I got to say, in terms of how simplistic the NHL franchise is, the fact that it's got EA's smallest budget in their development teams, I'd say it's one of the more successful in terms of gameplay. Yes, not much changes, but that could be said for any EA game that comes out. EA sports related game anyway. So I'm looking forward to that. It's always fun to get a new season under the belt, play for a new team, things like that, see how things click. So we'll be doing another season under that. And like I said, it does come out early that day. So we're gonna be trying that out first. Now, coming out also same day early, I may end up, I don't know if I want to get this special edition version or not, just because I don't know, maybe I'll wait, but we got enough games coming out on the same day as well, like later on, so it's going to be pretty close together. So I gotta figure out if it makes sense. So you'll have to forgive me. But also with the deluxe edition version, originally coming out on the 14th, now coming out on the 11th for that version, we have PGA Tour 2K23. Now if you guys remember, I ended up playing PGA Tour 2K21 a few years back in 2020. I remember I had just moved to this house. It was one of the first series I did on the new computer. I was still just recording games. I was streaming, but I was recording a lot of sports games and things like that still. And people ask me, Dan, are you going to do PGA 2K22? And I'm like, it doesn't exist. People ask me, why didn't you play this? Well, it didn't ever come out. They took a break to figure things out. So they've kind of reset the franchise, figured out some licensing issues, and they've got a new game for us, and I'm looking forward to it. It was actually a lot of fun. I didn't think people would be as into PGA as they were when I released that series. So we're going to be streaming it, and last time we only played one round per tournament. We're probably going to end up doing multiple rounds. I believe there's a total of 4 or 5, forgive me, I can't remember, rounds per tournament that we do. I don't know if I'm going to do the exact PGA rules for those, but I might do like maybe 3 rounds. So you'll be playing the same course multiple times, but that's just the way it works. That way, if you do make mistakes in one, you could learn the course and then get better at it, you know what I mean, from there. So, and since we're streaming it, we'll be able to tackle way more courses and way more tournaments in a stream based on that. So the plan for that, guys, because they both come out on the same day, I'm going to play it by ear on how much time I have. If I do have enough time to play both on the same day, I will. Basically, the plan is NHL on the first day first. We'll get through, you know, the preseason that we do. Not really the preseason, sorry, but the basically we're going to start by going through, you know, like the WHL or the CHL or whatever the case is, you know, the smaller teams, and then working your way up to the Memorial Cup. And depending how we play there in the minors or whatever, and then how we compete, how we do in the Memorial Cup, we'll obviously get drafted to a certain team, and based on that, that's how we're going to start a franchise. That'll be one stream, is doing all that, and then when we get drafted, that's kind of where the stream will end. So based on where that ends, I could, if there's enough time on that day, I should be able to do both, and then the same thing the day after, do 2 streams. And lately, I've just been doing one bigger stream. I prefer it that way, but when we've got all these games coming together, based on that, it might make more sense to do them in smaller streams for that, because I think I could probably get all that done in probably about 3 hours. You know what I mean? Like that first one, 3 hours. If I do another 3-hour stream with PGA, or maybe a little longer 4-hour stream in the afternoon, maybe that'll make sense, but we'll just play it by ear and go from there. And then that way, I'll be able to take the 12th and do the same sort of thing and play both of those kind of back to back. Do you know what I mean? So I can basically do, you know, NHL, that Memorial Cup, the round robin, all that stuff, all, you know, getting drafted. And then the day 2, I can do entire preseason. So 2 weeks of games, depending where we go. And then PGA, it's just like whatever, just do whatever courses you want to do. That's basically how it works. So that way it'll give us 2 days straight of those games, because we have releases on both the 13th and 14th on top of those games. Like I said, man, it's getting crazy. So let's start with the 13th. This, I'm not 100% sure if it actually is coming out this day, but I'm pretty sure it will be. We have the first official major expansion, not DLC, but expansion, to Dying Light 2 Stay Human. It's called Bloody Ties. It's the first story-based, like not just missions, it's the first like major story DLC. There have been released a couple of like sub missions or like mini ones. I can't even remember what they're called, but they have like various titles, but they're not really full expansions, not like a brand new story campaign. This one has a brand new campaign to it. You know, it's obviously not going to take the same amount of time as the main game, but it's probably beatable in one day. So that's apparently coming out. Apparently that was supposed to release back in September, got pushed to October. Hell, it might even get pushed back again. It was like supposed to come out in September, but I don't know. And then I look it up, it says, looks like it's coming out on October 13th. But again, that could get pushed too, because there's so many releases coming out in October. It's like, do you really want to stack it all up? We'll see, but that's slated for the 13th, which is interesting because it is a Wednesday. No, sorry, that's a Thursday. No games come out Thursday nowadays, so that makes sense. So we'll try and lock and load at that point, and we'll see what happens from there and try and get that done as well. But it will get done when it does come out regardless. All right, moving on. 14th, like I said, aside from NHL and PGA that were supposed to come out on the 14th, or do technically come out on the 14th, we are going to be also playing. Now, this got bumped up. This game was originally coming out on the 21st, but they had recently announced that the release date moved up a bit, which I think it makes sense. Now, this game I've been looking forward to just because of the creepy nature. We're in October. It's going to be a little spooky, you know, and we want this kind of creepy, nasty kind of feel to our games right now. So it's cool that I'll be covering a game called Scorn. It's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of a Geiger kind of experience, you know, like kind of a Geiger imagined experience. I don't know who Geiger is. Basically the guy who invented or created the original xenomorph in Alien. So the original, in the Alien franchise, the guy who actually designed the Xeno and designed kind of the sets and all their kind of thing, that inspiration is kind of Geiger-like. So it's like that mixed with Doom, you know, in that kind of a way. And I think it's first person. I thought it looks really cool and creepy. So we're going to be covering that, releasing on the 14th. All right, guys, a few days later, next week after that, we have a few games on the lineup. Again, it's getting busy, like I said, guys, so bear with me here. Coming out on the 18th, we have a couple games. The first game I'm super looking forward to. Most likely have to take 2 streams for this one, similarly to the predecessor, which actually came out. It's funny because we actually played its predecessor, but it originally came out in 2019. So I'm super looking forward to this sequel because I absolutely love the first game. But I knew this game was coming out and I wanted to play the original because I hadn't done it. I somehow missed it in 2019. Anyway, we have got Plague Tale Requiem, a Plague Tale Requiem. So the sequel to the first game, and it's going to be picking up like same characters as we left off, kind of not much later. I can't remember how much further into the game it is, but both our characters are a little bit older, but they're still going through it. So I'm excited to see where they take it. I thought the gameplay of the first game was fantastic. You know, kind of yes, it is stealth oriented. It's almost similar to like The Last of Us in that regard, how you have someone who helps you out. You know, your little brother's coming to help you out as well. But I think he's going to have a much larger role this time because as he gets older, he can do more things. So we get to pick up from their story and see how it goes. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed the first game, so the second game should be pretty good too, hopefully. All right, moving on. Also coming out on the 18th. Now this game I might not cover immediately on the 18th. Most likely not, if I'm honest. It might not even be on the 19th based on that, but we have Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, and I believe this game is not a guarantee. I don't know for sure. I threw it on the list. If I can't get to it, I can't get to it, but I don't believe it is there's like a campaign or a story, but there is co-op. So I think it's kind of like you work together, either you're on Team Ghost or you're on Team Ghostbusters. So essentially you have the Ghost team who try and, you know, stop the Ghostbusters, and the Ghostbusters obviously are the smaller team and they try to stop the Ghost, and I believe there's a main Ghost as well. It looks pretty cool, but again, it is locked to that co-op mode. I do not believe there is, even if you're like, obviously you're playing co-op, but I don't think there is a campaign for this yet. I remember seeing this, I'm like, oh, that could be fun to play with the boys if we can make it work. But obviously, co-op schedules and everything, it's tough to make work with everybody. So I'll do my best. Just figured I'd throw it out there that I do have some interest in it, but there's no guarantee that I will be covering this one just yet. I threw it on the list because I just figured I'd let you guys know. And if it ends up working out, it works out. All right. Okay, let's move on. Now this game I originally wasn't going to cover because I misunderstood what it was, but now that I understand what it is, we're going to be doing it. Coming out on October 21st, one of 2 games coming out on the 21st. First one, we have new Tales from the Borderlands. I don't know if you guys remember, a few years back, Telltale had released a Tales from the Borderlands episodic series, and it was Telltale's episodic style with decisions and things like that, but it was Borderlands comedy, and it was one of the most entertaining experiences I have ever played. One of the best scenes ever. I don't know if you guys remember it. I believe it was in like episode 3 of that series, and it was like the finger gun duel. Oh my God, that was just so fantastic. So it's gonna be more to that. I thought they were like bringing it, like it was like a remaster of the original game. They were bringing it to current gen consoles and, you know, whatnot, but it's not. It's new Tales, new characters. So, but the difference is it's not gonna be following an episodic format. The Telltale episodic format is not really something that is done anymore. It was during the mid 2010s, so I guess earlier than that, starting with like in the 2010s, I should just specify, it wasn't just in Telltale games as well. If you guys remember, the Hitman formula was episodic as well, where you got one level per every few months. So same kind of concept, except I believe there's still gonna be episodes, but I don't believe it's going to be, not that I don't believe, it won't be released periodically. You'll get all of it at one time. So just figured I'd let you guys know we're gonna be checking that out as well. Also coming out on the 21st. Now this game originally had a release date of the 25th, I believe. So I think they were just kind of ironing out some details at the time. But this is a very highly anticipated game, which means I'm going in assuming it's gonna suck. But we never know, it could be fun. Honestly, every time a game gets overhyped, I always think it's gonna end up being bad, or people end up getting disappointed. It's not necessarily gonna be bad, but I think it's gonna be kind of average. I don't know yet, it could be phenomenal, but I hate when games get overhyped because it ruins it. But anyway, I'm gonna ignore all that and just go in neutral. And we have, on the 21st as well, we have got Gotham Knights. So this is a game, like I said, people have been looking forward to, people have been asking me, one of the more requested games of the last little while. People have been asking me if I'm going to be playing this game for sure, and I'm like, definitely, I'm going to cover it, don't worry. Any major release, most likely I'm going to cover, unless there's an asterisk by some of those. But Gotham Knights is a co-op, but you don't need to be co-op to play it, from what I understand. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing co-op or not. Again, because I'm getting to a very strict schedule, there's very few games I can do co-op because time constraints. If there's like if that's the only game during the week or something, easy enough. But since we have like 2, 3, 4 games possibly in 1 week, because the thing is, yes, we can start a game on its release date. Well, guess what? And then a new game comes out, and then it delays the time it'll take to finish the games we already have on the go. Because people always ask me that. It's like, when are you going back to this? You know what I mean? It takes a while. That's just what gaming season is. But the thing is, because we're streaming it, we can tackle way more at once. So it'll be a lot easier for us to get these things done. So just keep that in mind. I can't reiterate that enough. People are still gonna ask me though. So anyway, but I am looking forward to Gotham Knights. Hopefully it's gonna be a good one. We shall see. Now, moving on, coming out on, the 28th, we have a couple of games now. These are the last 2 releases for the month. First up, now this one might be played early. It says that, okay, the release date, official release date is the 28th. I believe there is an early access thing, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Now, I played the open beta and the early access beta, I guess early access or whatever, recently. And I actually really liked it, and I found myself being like, I actually want to go back. And I was thinking about it after I came back, after I finished my stream of it. You know, I went into the weekend. I'm like, like after the weekend, I'm itching to play some Call of Duty again, some Modern Warfare 2. I just wanted to get into it again. So I have a feeling like, unlike Vanguard, now Modern Warfare from 19 and Cold War, I played a lot of, both on, you know, Facebook and YouTube, you know, respectively. I played those games quite a lot. However, Vanguard, I did the campaign, and I maybe streamed multiplayer maybe 2 or 3 times, compared to the past where I streamed it like 20 some times, maybe 30 some times for Cold War, maybe more. I don't even know how many times I streamed that game, but it was a lot. I played it for months and months and months. So more than 30 for sure. I played it a lot. I want to try, I think I'm going to end up getting back into Call of Duty for that. I'm not necessarily saying it's all I'm going to be playing, but like whenever there's like some downtime, I'm going to chuck in some Modern Warfare 2. Why not? I think it's going to be good. But the early access specifically applies to the campaign, which is perfect for me because that's just something I can just tackle really quick, do the campaign, and then we can jump into the multiplayer when the game comes out. So, or officially. So that being said, if we end up being able to play that game early, I'll probably, hopefully, I have contacts, obviously, with Call of Duty, and they're probably, or with Activision, obviously, and I should be able to get my code for it, an early copy. I have in the past, all the last few I've easily gotten. So, since they're doing an early campaign, I have to double check that, sorry, I have to double check what release date it is. All right, so I just confirmed it, and I wasn't even close, well, I was sort of close. The early campaign access actually starts on the 20th, which makes a lot more sense than the 18th or the 10th. I'm not sure where I got those numbers. Sorry, guys. So it looks like early access for the campaign starts on the 20th, which could be perfect because we could fit that in between a Plague Tale and new Tales from the Borderlands. Obviously, with Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed being unsure of right now, it might be the perfect game to play on the 20th, you know, right after. Maybe I can beat Plague Tale in the first 2 days, you know what I mean? So if we can do that first, and then when the game comes out fully, we can play some multiplayer after that, I think that'd be great. Anyway, moving on to the final release of the month as of now. It's actually a DLC, something that, it's been a while since we've actually played this game. It's been over a year for sure. I think, I can't remember when the game actually came out. It might have been October of that. I think it's been about a year anniversary since the game came out. It's been a minute, so forgive me, I'm not 100% sure. But we have the first official major story DLC for Resident Evil 8. And that is called, sorry, I lost my place, Shadow of Rose. So this is going to be going back and following the winter, you know, kind of storyline, you know, winter storyline, you know. So we're gonna pick that up after the fact. I think that's gonna be cool. I haven't played that game, like I said, in like a year. I gotta double check when that game came out. It might have been actually earlier. They announced this DLC a while ago. It's got a release date. It's gonna be coming out with the special edition version of the game. So it's gonna be bundled with it. Obviously, you can get the DLC with it as well. We're gonna be covering that, and that's perfect, which will lead us into Halloween, which people I'm sure are gonna ask me, is there gonna be any Halloween series? I don't know if I'm gonna get a specific game. It really does depend on what I've got going on here. So I'm not sure if I'm necessarily gonna play a specific game on Halloween, or if I'm just gonna end up continuing games I've got on the go, because as you can see, we got a lot. Now, the thing is too, we do have a bit of a buffer from when the next game releases in November. It's about a week, 8-9 days in November. So I'm going to be working on these games. It's going to take a minute. It's going to take a while to catch up. But November's a little more scattered as of now. There's not as many. I'm looking at them right now. Way more games in October than there are in November and December. So October's the big one. Usually is the case anyway, as in the last few years. So that's kind of the plan. I'm going to try and balance all that stuff. But it's going to be good. So I am looking forward to it. We got quite the lineup here. I'm very excited. I can't wait to get into these games. But again, forgive me guys, it's gonna take a minute to complete all these, just because I'll do my best to try and come back. If there's any game I can beat in a day, I'll definitely do it. You know, check it off the list, move on, get more games under the belt. So hopefully you guys tune in for some of these. Lots to come. Make sure you do subscribe and turn on post notifications. If you're already subscribed, obviously, make sure you hit the bell icon, turn on those post notifications, follow my social medias, because I do announce when I go live all the time. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Discord, those are linked in the description. Obviously, be sure to hit the like button on this video. Comment your thoughts below. Let me know what games you're looking forward to. If there's anything you feel I missed this month, please let me know in the chat, in the comments. Sorry, I'm saying chat. In the comments below. Obviously, if you think there's any DLCs that are coming out as well. DLCs suck for this because, like I said, I had only just found out there was a DLC for Assassin's Creed Valhalla, obviously the last chapter. Apparently there's, I'm just throwing it out there, it's going to be the next major one after Dawn of Ragnarok, and it's going to finish up Eivor's story. So they said, though, they announced it in September, like I think second week of September, and they said it's going to be in a few months. So if I could guess, it's probably going to be November or December, most likely, not October. We'll see. But either way, figured I'd throw that out there. Obviously, anything else I missed, comment below. Follow those social pages. Be sure to check out my merch store as well if you guys want to get a shirt or hoodie. I got a couple other goodies coming as well. Link in the description for that. Also, in a better feature below this video, you can scroll down and actually see some of the items there. Big shout out to all the sponsors, of course, of the channel: DXRacer Bones Coffee, Always Bearded, The Ridge Wallet, Mad Rabbit Tattoo, and Jinx Custom Controllers. I use their products every single day, and you can check those guys out for yourself. With the links in the description, make sure you use my promo code DANQ8000 to save at checkout. Finally, guys, be sure to sign up and check out for the Team 8000 membership program. If you haven't done so already, there's 4 tiers available for you: entry, basic, premium, and ultimate. All 4 of those tiers have a wide variety of perks. Obviously, the higher and better perks and the more perks are going to be in the higher tiers, but that entry level is only 99 cents. Super cheap and easy to get into the program. You'll get things like custom badges by your name, custom emojis to use in chat, exclusive video stream access, priority to open lobbies, giveaways, discounts, and plenty more. Speaking on that, we have, since it's the start of October now, we're going to be doing the members only stream for the month in a short period of time here in a few days. We'll be doing it early next week. Obviously, we're going to be jumping into that. So make sure you are a basic member or higher to enter that stream, and make sure you're an ultimate member if you want to be entered in that game giveaway, the game and merch giveaway, since we now do 2 giveaways instead of the 1. If you are ultimate, first place winner gets pulled. You get a game of your choice. Second place gets a t-shirt from my shop of your choice as well. So make sure you sign up, be an ultimate member. You'll get entered into the draw. Only rule is if you've won the previous month, you can't win in this month. That's the law. It's only fair. So just keep that in mind, all right? So check that out. Link in the description. There's a join button below the video on my main channel page as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. I cannot wait to get into these games. Obviously, anything we have on the go, NBA, Madden, FIFA. Madden and FIFA are special. I don't know if I want to play too much of those games. They're not doing it for me as much as like NBA is. Anything ongoing will pretty much continue. Sports games are always long-term games. They're not meant to be beaten in a week. They're meant to be taken your time with. I've done the story for NBA. The main story is finished. Now we're just playing NBA games from now on, leveling up our character as much as possible, that sort of thing. That's going to take place over the coming months. And like I said, if there's any slow time here and there, I'll probably jump into that. So into those games as well. So just keep that in mind as well. Otherwise, guys, thank you for watching. Like I said, have a great rest of your day, and I hope I see you in a stream coming in October. Lots to see. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let's hand things over to Knox Hill. Have a good one, guys.
Who's the man with the plan? If you feel trouble wildin' wild on these violent and hit you 8,000. Wait a minute, hold that style Dan. Goddamn Billy Jack, we still riding, tires flat. I hear them sirens, see shots flying, so we driving, fire back if they ain't vibing. Lie with that, got me dressed up in all black. What up? Hood up and I see them haters try to run with us, they gon' need inhalers. Gotta breathe them hard just like Darth Vader. Players grab your respirators, night invaders get lightsabered. Mask on for the shooters, move like trash to bed intruder. Got that Glock and got them woofers, just press play, I'll keep it moving. Who is Knox Hill, you damn fools? Keep it fresh like canned food. There ain't nothing we can't do, so tune into that damn kill. Yeah, it was never, ever a game.